I'm very interested about like your experience as like a trans woman working in sex work, and you spoke about the house that you lived in. You spoke about the house you lived in. Oh my God,
what's up, man? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Stays Wet with your girl, Joanna Divine. As you can see, I have an amazing guest, and we're going to talk about them in just a moment. But before we do, I just want to thank you for your continued love and support. And if you like what you see, and you like what you're about to hear, please subscribe, like, and share the videos. Okay, so today is a very special episode, and it'll probably be broken up into a couple of different episodes because it's almost like a love and lecture, or like a list of lascivious things. And we're just going to be talking and really embracing the fact of friendship, family, and candid intimacy between two people. But what we're going to be doing is, instead of me doing the interviewing, I am going to be interviewed. I don't know if you guys know, or maybe you do, the idea of chosen family. And in the community, in the LGBTQ plus IA community, there is something called chosen family, and even outside of that community. And the person that you see here, you've seen before on the channel, where I was interviewing them. Lavender Mason Lawrence is my chosen child. And recently they started calling me mother, which is just everything to me.
Had I not been calling you mother?
No.
She's always been mother.
I know.
She's always been mother.
So, as you can see, this is the lovely Mason Lawrence. Mason Lawrence is an up-and-coming actor in the industry. You can see them now on Netflix on the show called
Boo Bitch.
Boo Bitch.
Yeah. Not Boo Bitch, like Boo Bitch.
Boo Bitch. And has been walking runways of New York City, and just is a fabulous individual. And you can follow them. Their information will be below right here. And welcome, Lavender. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi.
Hi. So what we are doing is, I made a beautiful lunch for us, and we are eating shrimp pesto pasta with fresh tomatoes, feta cheese, and garlic bread. And the way we stay wet is with a glass of wine, and we're drinking Malbec today.
Cheers, baby.
Not in wine glasses. Like, why don't we do wine glasses?
I know we should have done wine glasses, but also, aren't these cups pretty cute?
These are kind of...
And they match the plates.
Yeah, and I don't need anybody knowing that I'm drinking wine.
Right.
So, I'm gonna let Mason take the lead here.
Yeah, take some bites. I want you to...
And you are now in charge, so I'm letting go.
Okay, well, hello everyone. I am going to be kind of just like, we're just gonna have a kiki, and I'm just gonna be asking Miss Mother, Jaylyn, some questions today.
Oh my God, this is so good.
While we're eating, by the way, she's an amazing cook every time. Every time she's cooked for me, it's been amazing.
This is so good. Don't be afraid to eat the tails on the shrimp.
Okay.
Because that's where a lot of the nutrients come from.
Really?
So just chew a little extra. Please don't choke in front of me.
If you just chew a little extra, I won't choke. Is that all it takes? If I just open my throat up more, I'll be okay.
That's what he said.
You know.
Okay. So, whenever you're ready, keep going.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna be asking some questions. It's gonna be really organic, and I've known Miss Mother Jaylyn for a minute now, and
since 2019,
18.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been that long.
I love that.
Aww.
Give me another little cheers.
Okay, cheers. 6 years.
It is 2 p.m. and we're having our first sips of wine. Good luck to us for the rest of the day.
Somewhere.
Yeah. But Miss Jaylyn has such an interesting and deep and involved life. Like, she has so many experiences, and every time we end up just talking about it, it's always so fascinating to me. And I love to just hear what she has to say because she's also wise. She's mother, you know.
Mother Gandalf.
So we have this idea for the Gandalf. You shall not pass. We just had this idea to sort of, you know, go and film a video, and I'm just gonna ask random questions, and she's gonna answer. And
Did I spill something in my lap? I'm good.
I think you're good.
Okay.
I think you're good.
Something squirted out of my mouth. Wouldn't be the first time. Okay.
I don't even know where to start. Like, I guess I'm very interested about like your experience as like a trans woman working in sex work, and you spoke about the house that you lived in. You spoke about the house you lived in.
Oh my God, what's up, man?
I asked you. I was like, anything off limits.
Okay.
You spoke about the
Shit, if we're
house
gonna
you
go
lived
there,
in.
let's go there. Okay. All right.
I mean, if anything's off limits, let me know. But
No, like I told you before, nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
And there is no shame in my game. The only thing I regret is not regretting anything.
I love that.
Because I feel that a lot of times, okay, I know that everything that happened in my life happened for a reason. I didn't know the reasons then. I still don't understand all of the reasons, but I'm content with what I don't know won't hurt me. You know what I mean? Because I may not be where I want to be in my life, but I'm damn sure not where I used to be. In my second year of college, you just took me back. You took me off guard a little bit. Okay, so don't apologize. My second year of college, I was going to Columbus College of Art and Design, and that was 1996 to 1997. At that time, the world was very different. I had been dibbling. Okay, so it's hard to explain, but it's so easy to explain, and I'm just trying to find the right words. But I think when I overthink things, then it comes out a little bit too forced, you know?
Yeah.
So my second year of college, I was going to Columbus College of Art and Design, and I decided to go out one night. And I met my future drag mother, Dominique Allen.
Dominique Allen.
Dominique Allen. Hi, Dominique. I know you're probably watching. I met Dominique, and at that time, I had already been struggling with who I was as a human being. I had already been kind of lost, and, you know, my body was just something that I was never comfortable with after puberty because I started developing breasts early in life. My voice had always been an area of conversation, and I didn't have the quote unquote normal, and I hate that word normal, but I didn't have the quote unquote normal male physique. I had always known that I was different.
Yeah.
But I could, at that time in the 90s, there was no word for it. So I think that I lived in a place of shame before really realizing it. And my first sexual experiences were always with older men because I had daddy issues. So I was kind of looking for comfort in the arms of men, and it wasn't necessarily a sexual thing, but it was a understanding and fulfilling thing, if that makes sense. Like, I was just looking for understanding and some sort of fulfillment. It wasn't necessarily sex.
Yeah.
Like my first sexual experience, I cried.
Same, actually.
Yeah, I cried when I was on top of him. And I was like, what am I doing? And I'm crying. And like my tears were like on his chest. And he was like, okay, let's go get you a hamburger.
Yeah,
I'll
normalize.
never forget that.
Normalize crying during sex, honestly. Yeah. Especially like when you're with someone who's really important.
He was 41 and I was 17, so it wasn't that important.
No, but like
should be in jail, but I lied about my age.
Oh, okay.
So,
I see. I didn't know that aspect, but at least
there's so much you don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
But at least for me, it's just like, I'm an emotional bitch. I'm a Cancer.
Well, you keep your emotions on the inside. That's the thing about Cancers. You guys wear your armor.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Aries is that we are fire signs and we wear our emotions everywhere. Like, that's why when we walk into a room, you can't help but look at an Aries. It's just a thing. You, on the other hand, are extremely tall, and you have this look about you that is so, especially when you cut your hair, so alien to me.
Yeah.
And I just live for it. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did sex work come into my life?
I guess just like quickly, like what I'm saying is, if you're crying during sex and you don't like it, that's bad.
But if you're crying and you do like it, that's good.
That and that's what I mean by like normalize.
My first orgasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it now.
No, we have to go back to the first question.
We'll get back to it. Tell us about your first orgasm. Organism.
Okay. I had always been able to release and to come.
Yeah.
But I never felt connected with my body. So sex was never about me. It was always about the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could release, but it wasn't an orgasm. After my vaginoplasty, the first time I had intercourse, I cried because I felt complete. I still am on a journey of completeness and feeling 100% aligned, mind, body, and soul. I think we all are. But for me to have a vaginal orgasm was something that my childhood self, not a child dreaming about an orgasm. That's not what I want anyone to think. A child, I can remember my first dreams of walking down the aisle in a wedding dress when I was like 5 years old. And I was marrying Bo from the Dukes of Hazzard. Shout out Bo. He actually just died. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Nightmare. But he was my dream husband. And yeah, he really was. And I didn't dream of him in a sexual way. I dreamt of him in a loving way. Because a child doesn't know about sex.
Right.
It was about love. So the first time that Derek, shout out to Derek, my ex, gave me an orgasm, I cried.
And this was post.
Yeah, right after I got my
yeah. And
7 or 8 months after my.
It was with someone else. It wasn't by yourself.
No.
That's. I feel like that kind of just like makes it extra tender and special.
Yeah, because I had always thought that I had orgasms, and maybe I did, but I didn't like them because I didn't like what was down there. But my genitalia was never male nor female. It was always kind of somewhere in between. And later finding out that I was born intersex was an even bigger deal to me. And it like changed my perception of myself because I was taught that I was wrong, that I was an abomination, that I was going to hell, that all of these things like really messed up. Parents out there need to watch what they say to their children. That's all I'm saying. Because if you want to set your child up for success, even if you don't agree with what your child is experiencing, or even if you don't understand, you don't have to put your thoughts and your own insecurities onto your children. Because I feel as though in those years, and my parents did the best that they could, I'm not blaming them. I'm just enlightening them because I want them to understand how they treated me still affects me to this day. And it was one of the reasons that I got into sex work. When I was in college at Columbus College, that was a good segue. When I was in college at Columbus College of Art Design and I was studying advertising, I went out and met Dominique at a club called The Garage. I will never forget it, in 1997. And she was my height. We were my same skin tone and we looked alike. Mm-hmm. Although she was more on the androgynous side, to where I was also androgynous, but she had makeup and everything on, where I wasn't really, I didn't really understand. And she comes up to me, she was like, "Girl, you are fish." And I was like, and I'm sitting there trying to be masculine, and me being masculine just never worked for me because it was like, "Girl, honey, come on, stop. So who you fooling?"
Right.
But I'll never forget this. She came up to me and she was like, "You are fish," and I was like, well, I kind of knew what that was because I had experienced RuPaul by then. Because Supermodel came out in 1992, and then Tu Wong Fu came out in 1995.
Right.
I had never seen anyone that looked like me because when I started doing drag, everybody said, "Oh my God, you look like RuPaul," and I was like, "Oh, RuPaul was all we had besides Sylvester, Divine, and things of that nature." But I saw myself in
Divine,
RuPaul.
like
From Pink Flamingo,
Pink
John
Flamingo,
Waters.
John Waters, yeah.
And Sylvester, who...
So those, prior to the early 90s, those were the references.
Liberace, we had Sylvester, we had Divine, we had homosexuality, and there was no LGBT community.
No.
There was no community.
Yeah.
The community was slowly being eradicated by an unfortunate plague.
It sounds like the 90s, though, were kind of like this era of like some pop culture queerness. Because I can think of a lot of like early mid 90s films like Mrs. Doubtfire, Tu Wong Fu. Like, what was the other one? I don't know. I can't think of it. Yeah, Priscilla.
Yeah.
That's more maybe 80s, right? I don't know.
90s, honey.
That was 90s?
Yeah.
Okay. And like you just were mentioning, like the RuPaul was kind of they had their own talk show.
Yeah.
Like the early 90s.
It was a big deal, but we all watched it in secret because we didn't want our parents to know that we were watching it.
Yeah.
So
that's the difference from today.
Yeah, as soon as my mother found out that I was watching Tu Wong Fu, she was like, "Why are you watching that shit?"
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't something that like straight people it wasn't like something that segued into straight culture.
But you have to understand, I'm a person of color. So in the white communities, acceptance is totally different than in the Black and brown communities. Because being other in a Black and brown community is still taboo. Still to this day. We have made a lot of strides, but we still have parents kicking their children out. We still have parents making them pray it away. We still have parents, beating their children because of what they see in them, and they're trying to beat it out of them. So I'm not blaming all people. I'm just saying it's a cultural difference.
It's a thing.
Because Caucasians do it just as well. But ours go unreported.
Yeah.
Ours go unheard because our stories don't get as much airplay. So if you see the interview that I did before about the trans women of color, the violence against trans women of color, if it was on the other shoe and if it was happening to Caucasian trans women, what would that look like?
It might have gotten more airplay.
Might have.
Probably.
If white people were disappearing exponentially, that wouldn't go unpunished. I mean, you can look at the way that they're treating Trump right now. It's like if Obama did the things that Trump did, he would have been executed. You see what I'm saying? But the fact that he has the complexion for the protection, it's a different narrative that they paint around him, where he has the opportunity to possibly be the next president of the United States, which is really unfortunate. But anyway, after I met Dominique, I kind of lost myself in the club world.
It happens.
Yeah, and I ended up leaving school, and I didn't want to leave Columbus, Ohio, because I didn't want to go back home to New York. I had changed too much. I had started doing drag and started doing shows, and I was a part of the Kincaid family in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, guys. My drag grandmother, Janet, my drag great-grandmother, Maria, my drag aunt, Sasha, Kendall, we all... We're our family, the Kincaid family. That was my first chosen family. The Kincaid. Kincaid.
Where did that come from? Kincaid.
It came from Maria. And Maria was the drag great-grandmother. And she had children, Janet and Sasha. And then they had children, Dominique. And then Dominique had me as a child. And I was a great-granddaughter.
Yeah.
Great-great-granddaughter. Oh, my Lord. And that was back in the day because at that time we had each other. We were all outsiders. We didn't really have connections with our families. At that time, my mother and I were just going through our own thing. I never really had a connection with my father after they divorced. So when I met Dominique, it felt as though I had family again, because she introduced me to all of these people and they just immediately embraced me and gave me the name Jesa. That was my first that was my first name. And it changed my life. It taught me so much about myself, but it also led me down a dark path because I started using narcotics. And I was using the narcotics not to get hooked on them, but I was using them to kind of numb. We all were, just to have fun and to numb ourselves. Because being a part of the community at that time, we were still underground. We still had to only go out at night. There was no way that we could live in the daytime unless it was like a pride experience,
right,
where we could go in the daytime, but we had to live at night. And we were looking for love and we were looking for acceptance, and it just turned into something else. And we had decided to get this 1-800 number. At that time, we had house phones, you know, the house phones with the long cords. And we had a house phone, but then we got another 800 number that we were going to advertise in the back of, oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling this.
What? You told me this before. I feel like I'm learning new things.
Yeah, so at that time.
Basically, this was your aunt, your mom,
my family.
Your chosen family.
Yeah.
And you chose to get a house together.
So we had a friend who had a house. And it was like what they call trap houses. We didn't call them trap houses back then. It was just a whole house. A house full of hoes.
But also with your family.
Yeah, but we were hoes. Like
but you're still family.
But we were a family of hoes.
Yeah.
Like, we were the hoe down.
A family of hoes.
We were the hoe up and the hoe down and the hoe all the way around. Yeah. So, oh my God, these memories are all flooding back to me because I don't think about these things too often. Because I don't, like, the last time I saw Dominique was a couple of years ago. But
it sounds like a reality TV show. Like,
it was reality TV before reality TV. Like, the real world ain't got shit on us, honey. Because let me tell you something. We had an 800 number and we put it in the back of Craigslist. Craigslist was a thing back then. And I think we even advertised it in another magazine, but I'm not 100% sure. And it was called Sexy Shemale Co-eds for Hire.
Sexy Shemale Co-eds for Hire.
Yeah.
And you were all living in this house together.
We were all living in this house together. And the regular rings would have a normal ring. And then when we got the whole ring, it would be like, ring.
You had a different ring?
Yeah. So I was designated as the what is the name?
Receptionist.
The receptionist.
Yeah.
So thank you for it was so funny. Thank you for calling Sexy Shemale Co-eds for Hire. My name was Monique because we couldn't use our real names.
Okay. Answer it like, put yourself in a situation, answer it. Be like,
so do the ring.
Ring. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you for calling Sexy Shemale Co-eds for Hire. This is Monique. How may I assist you?
Hi, Monique. I saw your ad. I am interested in meeting with one of you.
Wonderful. Well, we have several girls that'll be available for you. So would you like to pick a girl over the phone, or would you like to come and have we called it
What'd you call it?
Or would you like to have your bitch buffet? And they would always say, I want a bitch buffet. So
they wanted the bitch buffet.
So then we would give them...
They wanted the bitch buffet.
Yeah. So basically what a bitch buffet is when the guy would come to the house, all of us would walk downstairs and he would choose.
Okay, you would do like a little lineup.
Yeah.
Okay. How were they? Like, how were these men walking into the house? Like, you know how like maybe DL guys are? Like they're a bit weird and awkward, right?